Excuse me, coming through. What are you here for? Just kidding, I don't care. Oh, sweet Jesus, please let me live. Oh my God, I gotta fix this thing. Please, God in heaven. Please, God, oh Lord, hear my prayers.
Did you know that some of Rick's wildest inventions might actually be possible, according to real scientific theories? Yeah, I'm talking about stuff like the portal gun and the Microverse Battery. It's like peeling back layers of a cosmic onion, revealing the hidden science behind Rick's gadgets. We're about to dive into the actual physics and engineering concepts that could make Rick's tech work in our world. In this video, we'll explore the science behind the portal gun, the Microverse Battery, and other mind-bending inventions. By the end, you'll be looking at Rick and Morty in a whole new light. Let's get into it. Alright, so we've got Rick's portal gun. It's the gadget that lets him and Morty hop between dimensions like they're channel surfing. But how does this thing actually work? At first glance, you might think it's all about wormholes. You know, those theoretical tunnels through space-time that sci-fi loves to use as a shortcut. Seems like a no-brainer, right? Well, hold on to your butts, because it's not that simple. See, wormholes as we understand them are kind of high maintenance. They need ridiculous amounts of energy to create and keep stable. Rick's gun is impressive, but it's not exactly packing a supernova in there, so we've got to look at other options. Some eggheads think quantum entanglement might be the secret sauce. Now, quantum entanglement is this weird thing where particles get linked up. Once they're connected, they stay in sync no matter how far apart they are. It's like they're sharing a group chat across the universe. But here's where it gets really trippy. What if Rick found a way to entangle entire chunks of space? Instead of just linking up tiny particles, he's basically creating cosmic Siamese twins out of whole dimensions. This could explain how he makes those instant connections between realities. Okay, get ready for some serious brain-melting stuff. What if the portal gun isn't actually creating these connections at all? What if it's just showing us what's already there? Here's the deal. Some really smart folks think our universe might be a hologram. They mean all the information about everything in the universe might actually be encoded on a 2D surface, like the universe's hard drive. If that's true, Rick's gun could be doing something wild. It might be unfolding parts of that surface, revealing connections between dimensions that were always there, just hidden from view. Think of it like a folded map. You know how sometimes when you unfold a map, you suddenly see connections between places that weren't obvious before? Rick's portal gun could be like that, but for reality itself. It's not creating new paths, it's just revealing the hidden structure that was always there. This could explain why Rick can open portals to seemingly random places. He's not creating a new path each time, he's just uncovering the pre-existing shortcuts in the fabric of reality. It's like he's got a universal remote that lets him flip between channels of existence. Now, I know what you're thinking, but wait, if the universe is a hologram and Rick can just unfold it willy-nilly, why isn't everyone doing it? Well, that's where Rick's genius comes in. He's probably the only one who's figured out how to read and manipulate this cosmic code. It's like he's hacked the universe's operating system. Of course, this is all still theoretical. We're not exactly at the point where we can test if the universe is a hologram or not, but it's a fun way to think about how Rick's portal gun might work within the realm of actual science. And who knows, maybe in future episodes we'll get even more mind-bending clues about how this incredible device really operates. Okay, so we've covered the portal gun, but now let's talk about something even crazier, the Microverse Battery. Remember when Rick created an entire universe just to power his car? Yeah, that's what we're diving into next. And let me tell you, it's gonna get weird. The Microverse Battery is Rick's solution to the energy crisis, but on a cosmic scale. He creates a tiny universe, fills it with intelligent life, and tricks them into generating power for him. It's like having billions of sentient beings unknowingly powering your car instead of a hamster on a wheel. Pretty messed up, right? But is this even possible? Some physicists actually think creating nested universes or baby universes in a lab might be doable. Imagine making a tiny Big Bang happen in your basement. The catch is, these universes would probably be cut off from ours. So how would Rick get energy from it? Here's where it gets trippy. What if the Microverse isn't inside Rick's battery at all, but a parallel universe he's found a way to connect to and manipulate? We know Rick can hop between dimensions with his portal gun. Maybe he just found a universe at the right stage of development and decided to mess with it. Think of it like a cosmic version of Russian nesting dolls. Each universe nestled inside another, creating a chain of exploitation with each one powering the one above it. It's a twisted interdimensional interdimensional pyramid scheme. This raises some heavy questions about the nature of reality and the ethics of interdimensional travel. If there are infinite universes out there, does it matter if Rick exploits a few for power? Is it any different from us using fossil fuels or nuclear power in our own world? The Microverse Battery represents a massive power imbalance between Rick and the beings he's exploiting. It's like our own technological energy dilemmas, but on a universal scale. We struggle with the ethics of fracking or nuclear waste, while Rick casually enslaves entire civilizations for a quick charge. And here's another mindbender for you. What if our universe is someone else's microverse? What if everything we know and experience is just powering some alien Rick space car? It's the kind of thought that can keep you up at night, wondering if your whole existence is just to generate power for some higher dimensional being's joyride. Remember how Rick's microverse had its own nested universe inside it? And then that universe had another one inside it? This is where the whole thing starts to feel like a cosmic version of those Russian nesting dolls. In theory, each of these nested universes could be a separate parallel universe that Rick has somehow linked together. Now, you might be wondering how Rick manages to shrink down and enter these universes if they're not actually inside the battery. Well, remember that the portal gun can supposedly adjust the size of the portal, so maybe Rick is using a similar tech to create a sort of scaling portal that lets him and Morty appear to shrink down when they enter the microverse. Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room, time travel. You might have noticed that Rick, the guy who can literally do anything, seems to avoid it like the plague. What's up with that? I mean, the show's got time travel elements, but Rick himself, he's not touching that with a 10-foot pole. So what gives? Well, it turns out real scientists kinda agree with Rick on this one. Time travel is a nightmare wrapped in a paradox, served with a side of impossible energy requirements. Let's break it down, shall we? Time travel paradoxes are like a puzzle where the pieces keep changing shape. Take the classic grandfather paradox. You go back in time and accidentally stop your grandparents from meeting. Suddenly, you don't exist. But if you don't exist, how did you go back in time? It's enough to make your brain melt. And don't forget the butterfly effect. Step on a bug in the past, and suddenly the future is run by super intelligent apes. Every tiny change could have massive consequences. Some folks think parallel universes might solve these problems, but that's like trying to find your way home in an infinite IKEA. Good luck with that. And even if you could navigate the multiverse, you've still got to deal with the energy problem. Remember how much juice it took to make a wormhole? Time travel makes that look like charging your phone. We're talking about bending the fabric of space-time itself. Even for Rick, that's a tall order. But let's say you somehow figure out how to peek into the future. Sounds cool, right? Well, here's where it gets weird. If you can see the future, can you really change it? Or by trying to change it, are you just making it happen? It's like those old Greek myths where some king tries to avoid a prophecy and ends up causing it instead. Some physicists think time travel might only work going forward, so you could visit the future, but you'd be stuck there. No take-backsies. Even for Rick, that's a pretty big risk. So maybe, just maybe, Rick avoids time travel because it's actually impossible to control. Even for the smartest man in the infinite universes, it's just too unpredictable. He can hop between dimensions no problem, but messing with time? That's like trying to play 4D chess while blindfolded and drunk. Even Rick's not that cocky. Alright, so we've talked about time travel and why Rick's not too keen on it, but you know what's even crazier? A TV that lets you watch infinite realities. Yeah, I'm talking about Rick's interdimensional cable. Sounds awesome, right? But how does this thing actually work? At first glance, you might think Rick's just tapping into broadcasts from other dimensions. Simple enough, kinda like picking up radio signals from far away. But hold up, there's a big problem with that idea. We're dealing with entire universes that might have totally different laws of physics. So how is Rick's TV picking up signals from places where electricity might not even exist? This is where things get really weird, and we need to dive into some seriously trippy quantum mechanics. Ever heard of the many worlds interpretation? It's this wild idea in quantum physics that says every time something happens, it creates a whole new universe for each possible outcome. Like there's a universe where you decided to watch this video and another where you didn't. Multiply that by every decision ever made by every particle in existence, and you've got a lot of potential TV channels. But even with infinite realities, we still need to explain how Rick's cosmic remote control knows which universes to tune into. This is where quantum tunneling comes in. It's like if you threw a ball at a wall and instead of bouncing off, it just popped out on the other side. Weird, right? What if Rick found a way to make information tunnel between universes? Instead of particles, he's somehow getting TV signals to jump across the barriers between realities. It's like he's created a universal DVR that can peek through tiny holes in the fabric of the multiverse. Here's the real kicker. If that's how interdimensional cable works, it's actual proof that the multiverse is real. Every time Rick flips to a new channel, he's proving these other universes exist. It's like the ultimate physics experiment disguised as a couch potato's dream come true. And let's not forget about the infinite part. If Rick can truly access every possible reality, that means there are universes out there where literally anything you can imagine is happening. There's probably a channel where different versions of you are starring in reality TV shows, or one where squirrels took over the world and humans are pets. But you know what's really messed up? If the many worlds interpretation is true and Rick's TV is tapping into all these realities, that means everything we see on interdimensional cable is actually happening somewhere. All those weird commercials, all those bizarre shows, those are all real in some universe. It's enough to make you question your own reality, isn't it? So next time you're channel surfing, just remember, somewhere out there in the vast cosmic expanse, you might be the one on TV. And who knows, maybe we'll find more mind-bending proof of the multiverse as we keep exploring Rick's wild inventions. Alright, so we've seen how Rick messes with reality through interdimensional cable, but what if I told you there's a device that might be doing something even weirder? I'm talking about the Meeseeks box. You know, that little gizmo that spits out those blue guys who are super eager to help and then poof out of existence. Yeah, that one. At first glance, you might think they're just some fancy AI or holograms, but there's something about them that feels a bit too real. Here's where things get wild. What if the Meeseeks box is actually cloning Rick on a quantum level? I know, it sounds crazy, but hear me out. In quantum mechanics, there's this thing called the no cloning theorem. It basically says you can't make a perfect copy of a quantum state, but some scientists think you might be able to teleport quantum information from one particle to another. So what if the Meeseeks box is grabbing bits of quantum information from alternate Ricks across the multiverse? It could be snatching up quantum data from countless Ricks and smushing it all together to create these weird task-focused entities we call Meeseeks. This might explain why Meeseeks are so eager to complete their task and disappear. They're essentially glitchy quantum clones. Imagine being a mishmash of countless Ricks from across reality. You'd probably want to finish your job and peace out as quickly as possible too. Now, if this theory is true, it means every time Rick uses the Meeseeks box, he's scrambling pieces of himself from across reality. That's some heavy stuff to think about. It's like he's reaching into a cosmic grab bag of his own alternate selves and pulling out these strange, blue, purpose-driven entities. But why are they blue? Maybe that's just the default template the box uses to construct them, or maybe blue is the true color of Rick's quantum essence. Deep down at the most fundamental level of reality, we could all be weird blue people waiting to be summoned into existence. This whole concept raises some pretty freaky ethical questions. If Meeseeks are made from bits of actual Ricks, are they sentient? Do they have rights? Is Rick essentially creating and destroying life every time he uses the box? And if so, does that make Rick a god, a monster, or just a really irresponsible scientist? What if it's not just Rick's quantum information being used? What if the Meeseeks box can pull quantum data from anyone or anything in the multiverse? That would explain why Meeseeks can sometimes do things Rick can't, or why they occasionally seem to have knowledge Rick doesn't possess. And here's a terrifying thought. What if someday the Meeseeks box malfunctions? What if instead of creating helpful blue guys, it starts pulling together complete consciousnesses from across the multiverse? You could end up with some seriously messed up entities popping into existence. Rick's genius goes beyond drunken antics, revealing him as the ultimate universal hacker. Those burps hide some seriously mind-bending science. Keep an eye out for real-world physics next time you're watching. You might learn something between catchphrases and interdimensional chaos. While we can't portal gun through the multiverse yet, we can get swifty with science right here. Impress your friends with quantum mechanics theories at your next viewing party. Who knows, maybe one day we'll crack the code to our own cosmic battery. Until then, we're stuck in this universe, but at least we're a little closer to unraveling its secrets. What mind-blowing breakthroughs might inspire the next season?